before judges, and anything good you do, it builds your reputation, right? Every single person you help or any sort of assistance you provide to anybody, you are creating a better and better uh, brand for yourself naturally. Okay, people will speak good things about you. So what is your brand? People saying really good things about you. And can that be done only by, let's say, advertising? No, you don't have to advertise. Do you have to go and solicit other people for work to build a brand? I don't think so. Okay, so there is nothing really that says you have to build a brand by doing things that are banned by the Bar Council of India or by the Advocates Act. There are plenty of things you can do. So, for example, if I am educating lawyers or if I'm educating clients about a certain provision of law, and many people benefit from it, it builds my brand also, right? Because people starts looking at me as an expert in that area. They have learned it from me, so they will naturally look up to me as an expert in that area. Does that mean that it is violation of some laws and rules? I really do not think so, right? So this is very important to keep in mind. uh, Very important to keep in mind that you do not violate any rules, any kind of laws, but at the same time you effectively brand yourself, you create a strong brand. So for example, don't you think law firms like Trilegal, Luthra, uh, Amarchand, they are brands, right? There is Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas. They don't say only Cyril Shroff, right? They write Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas. Why are they writing Amarchand Mangaldas? Somebody who is clearly not around from a long time as a lawyer, but his name, I don't know, his or their name is still there. And why is it there? My understanding is that there is a brand in that name itself, and the brand is so strong that even though those lawyers are not around today, you need to keep those words in your name, and there is a power in keeping those words in your firm's name, right? And I think that is the power of a brand, and you can create that for yourself. Many people have done it continuously, and people are doing it today. So I think it is important to understand the difference between advertising, solicitation, and branding. While branding is a perfectly legitimate activity, right, which is uh, so to speak, there may be you know ways to do branding which will be illegal, right? But just don't do it. You guys are all lawyers, smart enough to know what is right and what is not. Okay, next question.
Sir, so to a large extent, you have addressed this question, but another part of it was what are the ways which lawyers can start building their brand online? So if you can give us 4 or 5 pointers, that would be really great.
How can they start building brand? Okay, how to start building a brand online? So first of all, many people think that, oh, I need to have a law firm first, or I have to at least be a lawyer. If I'm a law student, how can I build a brand, right? So there are all these problems are there, but it is nothing that you have to have some prerequisites to start building a brand. Anybody can start building a brand. In fact, you will see there are so many people who are well known on social media. They have successfully built some kind of brand or the other. Let us take some examples, right? Okay, so
Tariq, sir.
Sure. Tariq is a good example. So Tariq is a good friend, and he has been writing. So one of the things he does is that he will write articles about the recent judgments. So he will do a compendium of the most important judgments and publish it on Bar and Bench or Live Law, or he will write some analysis of recent judgment, and not much of his own comment. It is a compilation most of the time. And he is very clear that rather than giving my own comment, I want to help other lawyers to get the right information in one place. And he has been doing it and tremendously successful, right? And naturally, if you are writing such articles on arbitration law, on maybe bankruptcy law, IBC, whatever, whichever one you start writing on, if you're writing these things regularly, very rapidly people start noticing that, okay, you are somebody who's very serious about this area of work, and they start thinking of. So tomorrow, if they have a question and they are looking for a judgment and not finding it, they might want to call you and ask you a question. Essentially, what you have done, that you have earned the respect of your peers by this activity, and they have benefited from it, and they are thinking of you when they have these kind of situations, right? So when they have tomorrow, if there is a peculiar situation and I think that Tariq might be able to help me on arbitration, so I will give him a call, or any of you would give him a call. That is then the branding at work. The branding has been successful and it is generating results, that you have enough respect for Tariq to call him and have a conversation about what he knows. Maybe he knows a new judgment, maybe he can give a certain advice about that, and this is branding, right? So you don't have to wait. So a very good example of Jay Sehta, a law student, right? So when I was in my 5th year of law school in NUJS, you are the first year law student, and Jay came to me when he was a first year student, and he said that, you know, as a junior to senior, Bhaiya, I have written an article. Can you give me some advice? Can you help me to, publish this somewhere, in a journal? So I said, okay, leave the article with me. And I read the article, and I called him back and said that, if you publish this in a journal, then nobody is going to read it. If you, maybe a very good journal, it'll be one line in your CV someday that you published this article. But what if you start a blog? I will do all the technology work, but if you promise to write regularly, I'll also write some articles. Let us start a blog. And that is how a blog called G Laws, gambling laws for that. It was G Laws, and started, and hats off to Jay. He continued writing on that. But by the end of his first year and my 5th year, right, there were already newspapers quoting him, and Supreme Court lawyers flying us down from Calcutta to Delhi to have a conversation, to have a meeting about certain things. So it's like nothing said that because you're a law student, you cannot do it. What happened in that case was that gambling laws was not a topic that was being discussed. It was a blue ocean thing, right? Blue ocean is like where there is nothing existing today. You take up something like that and you start writing about it. You start writing good articles, you start writing about it on social media. Suddenly all the people in that area who have some interest in that will start looking up to your content, because that is the only thing that exists, right? So very soon the gambling law blog was being read by managers of casinos, high stake, poker players from around the world. People wanted to know about taxation, people wanted to know about how to get licenses. Sikkim government was giving out online casino licenses. Everybody wanted to know about that. There were judgments that needed explaining. Okay, so huge amount of activity. So why did it happen? Because somebody saw an opportunity, started writing about it, right? And this is very, very important. So you can do this today. You can build your brand like that. There are so many unsolved problems, right? The unresolved problems that people are facing today. For example, today, if you want to go online and find out that, okay, if I applied for an insurance, right? See, right now, so many people are affected by COVID. People are dying. So life insurance, then there are people who will have claims for hospital costs reimbursement, and then they will get denied the same, or there'll be delays. Don't you realize that so many lawyers are needed to do this work? But today, if I go online and look for this information, just think about you, in your circumference, all the lawyers who are there, is anybody writing on what to do if insurance company rejects your claim? Okay, how to make your claim bulletproof so that nobody can reject it.
Yeah.
If it is rejected, can I go to some ombudsman? Can I go to consumer court and file a complaint? Can I go to IRDA and complain against the insurance company? What can I do, right? Now, all these questions, nobody is talking about. What is a third party administrator? What do they do? Like, this information everybody needs. It is so relevant. There is so much work. But how many lawyers do you see explaining this to the common people today? Now, if you started doing this, right, wouldn't there be a lot of people who would want to come and take your help when they are stuck? I am sure in the next 2 months, in every 10 families, there will be one family who needs help of some insurance advisor, not insurance, buying insurance, getting insurance claims. Okay. Now, if you did that for the next 3 months, 4 months, and you wrote a lot, you made YouTube videos, you wrote about it online. So naturally, you are building a brand in that. Tomorrow, somebody wants advice like that, they'll come to you, right? So you have, and you keep talking about that problem, you become a brand. And this is just individuals. There are businesses who also need help with insurance. So for example, sometimes, people have these payment gateways. They have insurance against hacking or fraud. What if their payment gateway is hacked and money stolen? They have insurance against that. Now, I have actually handled such cases where 10 crore rupees was stolen, okay, from a payment gateway, and they had insurance covering all of that. They had 100 crore insurance, but now they wanted to hire a lawyer just to understand how to not miss the bus, how to make their paperwork perfect so that when they are making this claim, they cannot be denied the money. And they needed that advice, okay, because they can't afford. If they don't get this 10 crores, their business will shut down. There will be fraud cases against them. The founders will be arrested. They can't afford to make a mistake. They are ready to pay somebody as much money as needed if they get an assurance or they get a reasonable service that, okay, we are not making any mistake here. We are foolproof, right? Now understand the power of branding here, right? So if you have built a brand, then they also know that, yes, this person is serious about such work, have been talking about it for 5 years. Rather, I'll go to him than some lawyer who never deals with these things, never talks about these things. As simple as that, right? So, okay.
Yeah. All right.
What's next?
So, yeah. So the crux of the answer was start writing a blog in your area of expertise. Second is stay abreast with the recent developments happened in the fraternity and in your domain. And third was look for a problem that people are facing in their day-to-day life and try to solve it by your writing and reach out to people to enhance your expertise even further, right, sir?
Right. So yeah, the way to build a brand is very simple. Is that you can look at it this way: that one is that number of people exposed to you, and then number of people who are fans of your work. So if you have helped people who are benefiting from your work, then a lot of people will become your supporters, your fans, your people who want you to succeed, right? And also the number of overall total people being exposed to the good work that you are doing, that also matters. So if a lot of people are familiar with it, so for example, if you're on TV talking about it, then definitely a huge number of people are seeing it, getting to hear about it. Surely that will make a huge difference, right? So exposure, as well as how much you have impacted people, that they have benefited so much, that is the measure of branding.
All right, sir. So this brings me to my next question. We know that LinkedIn is a major, not everything, but a major part of building your successful virtual brand. And you have more than 33,000 followers on LinkedIn. As far as the width and the depth game of building a community on that particular platform goes, uh, you have totally aced that game. So how about you first telling us how you achieved that milestone, and then secondly, how can one use LinkedIn to the best of his advantage?
Sure, I'll talk about LinkedIn. First of all, I don't know if I have aced the game or anything, but yeah, I have been active on LinkedIn for a while and I get good traction there. But there are people who have done much, much better than I have, honestly speaking. And I am still learning from them. So, what they are doing. And the basic thing about LinkedIn, and I've done whole sessions on LinkedIn, okay? So, if anybody wants to know in depth, you should go and look it up from my LawSikho YouTube channel. You can find those videos also. Now, how to do your branding on LinkedIn? So the way it works is that LinkedIn is a platform which has very high at the moment. It has very high virality. So compared to anything else, it is much easier to go viral on LinkedIn. Okay, so if you post something which is interesting, you are likely to go viral. The other thing that happens is that people, when they create their Facebook profile, for example, they add everybody. They add their neighbors, they add their friends, they add their colleagues. So there is a very heterogeneous kind of group. It is, if you are let's say you are a lawyer, you are a criminal lawyer. It's not like that all your Facebook connections are also criminal lawyers. But that is the case with a lot of LinkedIn people. So in LinkedIn, what happens is that all your connections are LinkedIn, are maybe also criminal lawyers if you are a criminal lawyer, right? Because it's professional. So people add the professional people. So they have some relevance to the content that you post. Biggest mistake people make is that they do not post. And if they post, they do not post enough. Okay. So the stats is that around 90% people barely post anything. There are 8% people who infrequently post, and 2% people post all the time. So it will happen that if you open your LinkedIn, you might have noticed that there are 2, 3, 5 people whose post always comes up. Okay. And the rest of the people are silent. This is the situation. So there are very handful of people very few people who are actually regularly posting on LinkedIn. But the rule of posting on LinkedIn, number one, to know who is your audience. Okay, so you should add those people on LinkedIn who are relevant for you. Like, are they going to hire you? Are they your potential clients? Are they in the same practice area? Okay, so that kind of people. Now, once you have them on board, so once you start posting your content, make sure that you post ideally 2-3 times a day. Okay, and initially you may not see traction, but if you're posting relevant stuff, you'll see certain posters getting a lot of traction. So that will start teaching you what kind of content needs to be posted. And you'll always see that if you post a content which is helpful for other people, then they will be very much interacting with this, asking questions also. So there may be questions. So a lot of times I use social media for research. So I post things from a research perspective. Like yesterday, you might have seen I am actually working on a workshop on how people can apply to law firm jobs at this time, and I wanted to know what are the pain points they're facing, right? And certain pain points I knew, but once I posted a question saying, "Hi, I know about these pain points, but are there other pain points that you guys are facing?" Then I got like a lot of responses, right? A lot of responses and very insightful responses from people who have. I actually learned a lot from that. Now my workshop will be even better because I have got all that input. Okay, so this is very important that you're engaging with people, and it has to be engagement. And so let me take some examples. So anybody in the session who's willing to come and talk about what they can post about, for example. Anybody wants to come online? Just raise your hand or message. I'll unmute you. We can unmute.
Aryan, why don't you come?
Who are you inviting?
Why Aryan? He is really talented.
Aryan. Okay.
Aryan Kashyap, yeah. Should I
Great.
mute you?
Unmute you. Anybody else also wants to come online?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Yeah. So Aryan has raised. Please unmute Aryan Kashyap, sir. He has raised his hand.
Okay. Hi Aryan. So what is your what is your goal from branding? Like, what do you want to achieve? Are you a law student? Are you a lawyer? What do you do?
Good afternoon, sir. I am a law student from Lloyd Law College, first year.
Okay.
And my goal from LinkedIn is that I have found my own blog, sir. And
what is your goal as a lawyer or a professional? What do you want to achieve?
As a law student?
Say when you graduate, what do you want to do?
Okay, so in my future, sir, I'm not very sure. I'm still exploring the field of law. But I've been posting regularly on LinkedIn, and my goal with that is that I try to share my experiences, my past experiences, which is very little, but I try to share my experience so that people can learn.
But why are you doing all this? What is the point? What is the end goal that you want to achieve?
So I don't know. My seniors, they have been posting every day. They are like really charismatic. I have seen you post every day. So I like everybody say it's a big challenge.
So Aryan, I have a simple goal, right? I want to connect with lawyers, law students. Okay, and I want to build courses. I want to build training programs. I want to build systems and products, and then make law more efficient, practice of law more efficient. I want to make access to justice possible. So that is what I have decided my career is all about. So I need to connect with more and more lawyers and law students who are like that, who are thinking in those lines, right? So my posts will be like that. Now you need to decide what is your game here, right? What do you want to achieve?
Yes, sir. So in that way, like I am trying to connect with more people who are in the public policy domain, or people who are associated with NGOs, like who can like help me and associate with me in bringing the social change I'm trying to achieve, sir.
Okay, what kind of social change? Let's say public policy. Let's say public policy. Okay, say, okay, I got at least something that you want to work in public policy. Okay. Now, you should be posting about public policy. So right now, what could you write about public policy, which would be very, very valuable on social media and will help to build your brand, because other people will be helped or a cause is being supported? What could that be?
The most contemporary thing I can think of is like very recently there have been very brutal cases against the pregnant against a pregnant
Elephant.
elephant in Kerala.
Sure.
So
Now, what could be
I
a policy fix for that? What are the policy changes we
the
need to
best
do?
things are the punishment for the current laws. The fine is merely rupees 50 rupees, and it
No, that is
seriously.
cruelty of animal law, but otherwise you have Wildlife Act.
Yes, sir. Like we need to increase the fine severely, sir. Like the
Okay.
fine is.
Now you can write a post about it, that cruelty of animal law has to be changed, public policy. You can lead
Yes,
a
sir.
public policy initiative for changing that, right? And
Yes,
many people will support you because they care about you. So will
yes,
that enhance your brand as a public policy enthusiast and a law student who's working hard towards it? Yes, it will
I
make a
think it
difference.
will, sir.
Correct. So now, how many times will you post about this? Only once?
No, sir. I'll like if anything else comes up in the future, I'll try to post about it. And
No. It's not like that. That is the mistake everybody makes. Okay, you post one and let's see if something comes up. No. It is not one post. You need to see this as an initiative, right?
yes,
So
sir.
what will you do? You do one post, then you mobilize people to do something. Maybe you create a petition. Okay, then you
Yes,
might want to file a PIL. Then you might want to petition the ministers. Okay, then you might want to create a conference or a webinar about it. People who want to help, they can come and debate. There is so much you can do, right? Now you're saying, and all of that will be also part of your social media. So you'll be writing about all these activities you're doing, right?
yes,
Otherwise, this is called a keyboard warrior. You only write on keyboard, you don't do anything.
yes,
Okay? That is very sad. Don't be one of those people, Aryan. So, but you can do so much, and you can use the social media to mobilize support for that, right?
sir.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Very good, Aryan. Okay. Saurav, let's speak with you. Okay. So this is another example. So I may be talking to them one by one, but I'm not only talking about them. You need to think about yourself. That if you are there in their place, what will you do? And in your current situation, what can you do? Right? The examples I'm giving, you need to think of yourself that, okay, what can I do in my area of work? Okay, Saurav is here. Saurav, please tell me.
Yes, sir. Good
What do you
afternoon,
do?
sir. Sir, hello.
What do you do, Saurav?
Sir, I joined in the month of March diploma in IPR and media and
Okay.
entertainment.
What do you do in life, like a lawyer, law student?
Sir, I have decided and determined to start a boutique law firm related to intellectual property rights.
Okay.
So I just want to know, sir, how to start blogging. I have written 2-3 articles from the assignments as well as from my own. I have selected 2-3 articles. It's just a beginning, sir. So I just want to know how to start blogging. Do I have to make a website of my own after writing 30, 40?
No. See, making a website on your own is the slowest possible way. Okay. It is not necessary. You can
Okay.
very well use the existing websites, and you can very well use social media. And that way you will be able to build your traction and get clients and everything much faster. Your brand will be built much faster. If you try to build your own blog, it may take as well 4 or 5 years to get anywhere. Okay.
Right.
But because it will not, you have to write for 3 years continuously every day, one post to get noticed. Maybe for all I'm not saying that is necessary in every case, but can happen faster also. But generally, I'm saying that is the kind of effort needed before people start trusting and it starts actually building a brand. But
Right.
what if whatever you're writing, what if you published it in another blog, which already has thousands of blog posts, has a certain recognition, people respect it. Okay. If you publish it there and then you take excerpts from it and start publishing on social media, and in the comment, you put a link to the original article. So same effect, you don't have to have your own blog for that.
Right.
Rather, people will see, I can start a blog and write whatever I like on my blog. right? Same
Right.
reason why people do not respect LinkedIn posts. A lot of lawyers write a LinkedIn post and then get no traction, nobody likes it, nobody reads it, and then they're surprised. It is because people don't, everybody know they can also post a LinkedIn post. They don't believe it as authentic or trustworthy. But if you post it on a website where there are many other articles, many people read it, then there is a confidence that, okay, whatever is written here is probably have gone through editorial process and it is probably correct. So it is better that you publish. If you want quick results in the next 6 months, 1 year, my advice would be that you go and publish on other blogs. Could be Live Law, could be Bar and Bench, could be IP Reader's blog, and places where your clients are there. So if you are running an IPR outfit, right, IPR law firm, then who are your clients? Maybe your clients are startup founders. Maybe your clients are people who are inventors. Maybe your client, you have to think who's your client. Maybe foreign counsels who are going to register their IPR in India. So you have to decide who your clients are. Then what website do they already read? Or what groups are they already part of? Or what publication do they read? Okay. What channels do they watch on YouTube? Once you know that, then you can specifically go and publicize yourself there. You can publish your articles there. You can, but best thing about LinkedIn is that you can add them on your LinkedIn and then start posting about these things. Okay. And if you start posting about these things, they'll read. And even if you published it on Bar and Bench, whatever, IPD's blog, and you post it on LinkedIn, they'll see and they click on the link and they read your article. So your brand will get created that, oh, this person works a lot on IPR. Or be more specific than just IPR. That's too generic. You need to be much more specific.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
did
sir.
that help, Saurabh? Did that give you an
Yes, sir.
idea what
Yes,
to
sir.
do? Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Great. So who wants to okay, I think I have answered two different people. So let's get back to the discussion. But I would love to take some questions at this point. Anubhav got muted, it seems.
All
Okay,
right.
Anubhav.
Yeah.
I'd love to
So-
take more questions if anybody has any questions.
Yeah,
you can-
Radhika Menon put up this question. If you want to change your practice area, how can the branding help?
Okay, so Radhika, see, branding helps because if you, so you can start branding yourself in a new area, right? So for example, for some reason I wanted to leave law. I'm not saying you probably want to move around within law, but I'm just giving an extreme example. Let's say I wanted to leave law and I fully wanted to get into, let's say, a software company and managing a software company. I want to be working in software companies going forward, or I want to work in, let's say, venture capital, for example. So there are two parts. One is that I have to know enough to be able to do the work. So I want to work in venture capital does not mean venture capitalists will come running and hire me, right? First of all, I have to have the knowledge also. What will I do in a venture capital company? Okay, let's say I come up with the idea that I am great at sourcing deals. Okay, great at sourcing deals. What does great at sourcing deals mean? That I will be able to find high potential, promising startups and connect them with the fund. Okay, this is the offer I'm making. That before other venture capitalists find out, I will find the best startups and I'll bring them to you. Okay, now I have to. This is my value proposition to the potential employers, right? Now, how can I actually convince them that I have such ability to bring really great startups? So I need to show some traction for that, right? So I will go on social media and I'll start writing about amazing startups every day, right? So I'll be like, okay, startup of the day. Today I interview founder of this startup. Tomorrow I interview founder of that startup. Today I write about this startup. Now what will happen if I start doing is that more and more startups will be attracted to me. Okay, more and more startups will be attracted to me and they will come to me, and it will be noticed by my potential employers, which are the venture capitalist companies. They'll see, oh, this guy is so well connected in the startup sector, he should be able to help us. Now that is the branding. That is where the branding helps. Now same thing, let's say I want to work as a lawyer in the startup sector, right? Now if I did the same thing, by the way, still the law firm will also be interested, because law firm will think, wow, this guy knows all the startups, all the potential clients. So very good. That is one. Okay. But other thing they'll also, so if I write a lot on startup and law, like what are the legal issues startups are facing, it kind of shows them that I am aware of these issues, that I am interested in this truly, and that I have a lot of people validating what I'm saying, because they are liking my posts and they're engaging, they're commenting on my posts. So those people itself, so it really shows to an employer that this person is engaged in this particular thing. Because what is the, or even a client, right? Even clients start seeing this, they'll start approaching you, because they want help and they want to find people who are thinking about their problems day and night. So if you're posting so much on social media about their problems, then you are probably somebody who can help them. So they'll come to you. So this is how it works. Does that help?
All right. So Radhika,
Let's
can you?
ask.
Yeah, Radhika, can you write in the chat box if that helped? Just write a yes or great or something like that.
Or it didn't help, your follow-up questions, just tell me. Okay.
Yes, Radhika, thank you. All
Great.
right.
Do we have more questions, Anubhav?
No. So should I continue with my set of questions?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So, sir, when you were talking to Aryan, you highlighted a mistake that people are not being consistent on LinkedIn. So this is one mistake. So can you highlight some more common pitfalls one need to watch out for while striving to build his or her online profile?
Okay, so a lot of time, one big mistake that people make is that they keep self-glorifying too much. Okay, you need to sometimes talk about your successes. If you don't talk about your success, then who will? But some people only think they post is that I am humbled to let you know that I have got this award. I am humbled to let you know that I have got that thing. Now, this is not good, because people are not getting any value from you. They are only seeing you saying, oh, I did this, I did that. But what is their benefit? What is in it for the people who follow you? Are you helping them? Do you care about them? Are you thinking about their problems? Are you giving them actionable insights? Are you sharing things that actually help them? Because if you do that, then people would be really appreciate the fact that you got an award. Otherwise, you are getting awards and getting this and that benefit, but they don't get any benefit. They are not, I mean, it's social, right? If I always came to you and told you stories about how I'm doing so well, and never took interest in you and how I can help you, I never asked you how I can help you, or I never tried to help you, then you'll be tired of hearing my success stories and you'll not want to engage with me anymore. So that is not good. One thing that people I see doing is that they are always talking about their benefits. So that is one. The other is that people write very boring academic stuff a lot of times to show off. That also doesn't help. You should tell stories. What works really well is stories. You tell stories. Today this happened, or when I was a child this happened to me, or when I was in college I did this. Okay, now these kind of stories have incredible power, not only on social media, everywhere, but especially on social media, whether Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. You will get a lot of attention, a lot of success with stories. So definitely, rather than posting abstract things, try to give a context, try to give a story about it, right? So if you are going to write about, let's say a problem with the Wildlife Act, okay? So don't just write Wildlife Act, also write a story about the Wildlife Act or something that happened somewhere. The more you engage in telling stories, the more you go from abstract to a story model. Okay, people will still get the message out of it, but you explain it through a story, like fables, right? Aesop's fables and all of that. And it is always done like moral stories, moral information, anything legal, anything you can explain it through a story. And if you tell a story, then people will like it, and they are going to your brand will be built much faster. And people don't do that. People go and write really abstract, boring stuff, then they don't get any traction. So this is one advice.
All right. So the main takeaways were, don't keep glorifying yourself. Once and twice is fine. More than that, just spams people
Yeah,
and
truly you're happy about something, write about it. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
don't just do that only. Then you
Yeah.
also share the struggles, also share how you can help others, also share information that is useful to people, all of that.
So and more than that, spams people and reduces the depth of your network. And secondly, focus more on sharing experiences in the form of stories, which should be less abstract and pretentious, and more of actionable insights and examples to solve problems.
Stories. Not only actionable insights. If you're writing an insight, write a story about that insight also. Give an example of that insight. Like, do not only write the insight. That is the whole point. Okay?
All right. So this brings me to my next question, sir. We know
Chetna
that
has an interesting question. Can you take that?
when, where?
In the chat. She's asking, is it beneficial to send a message to our connection on LinkedIn about area of legal services we provide?
No.
Does it violate AIA? It is of no use, Chetna. It is, whether it violates, it probably does, but even otherwise, it is of no use. It will never help you. I get such messages every day, and it every day bothers me that why are these people sending me messages? Are you going to tell me something? Okay, I message you saying that Chetna, I provide online courses for judiciary. Okay, and you see that, and you're like, okay, I'll tell you something comes to you, I'll tell you. Okay, and then another person is writing about how to, like, writing posts only, nothing messaging directly, but doing a great job posting about, what are the challenges people face if they are from villages to prepare for judiciary. What are the different models of judiciary preparation? How many of the coaching centers focus on rote learning, and there are few coaching centers they do not rely on rote learning. And how can we avoid rote learning and still succeed in judiciary exam? Somebody is writing about, how to crack judiciary exam without any coaching centers. Okay, I run a coaching center and I still writing on how to crack it without a coaching center. Now you will be noticing that, and who are you going to recommend? Are you going to recommend the person who messaged you saying, I do this service, please message me if you have anything? Or are you going to see the person who's so passionate about judiciary and writing such useful things about that? Who are you going to approach?
She is mute.
Okay, you can unmute her. You can write on chat also, Chitna, however you prefer. Right. So the idea is that, people need to, you cannot just tell them, you have to show them, right? Chetna, do you want to unmute yourself and come and talk about it?
Hello.
Yeah, Chetna. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm an advocate. I have followers on LinkedIn. So I was trying to, like, should I send a message to them about the services? I'm posting regularly right now.
Good.
But as per the example given by you, I also consider that a person who posts regularly about it, people will, gain trust over them more.
Yeah. So what is your area of practice, Chetna?
IBC.
IBC.
Contract drafting, I'm into the diploma course of
contract drafting. Very good. So let's say you want to get more work for contract drafting. What kind of content can you post on LinkedIn or Twitter or anywhere else for that matter?
I can post some takeaways from the agreements provided.
Okay.
I'm doing that actually. Co-founders agreement, franchise agreement, whatever I'm learning, I'm constantly.
Okay. Now, can you write a story about co-founders conflict and how the co-founder agreement helped or did not help? Can you give an example of that? You can read up from the history if there is any such case of co-founder conflict where co-founder agreement came in handy, and then write that story on LinkedIn and then say all this. Then will that be even better?
Yeah, that will also work.
Okay. Do you know about any co-founder disputes in recent times in India? Can you think of any?
No, not actually.
Not actually,
I
right?
cannot recollect.
Okay. There are many cases where there is shareholder dispute. You can write about that also. That is close. Do you remember any shareholder dispute very famous recently?
No, I'm not able to recollect right now. Any such famous.
Tata Palonji Mistry.
Yeah.
Right, major shareholder dispute, and there are many other examples also that you can get into disputes involving. There was a shareholder dispute between McDonald's and its Indian counterpart, North India counterpart, some black castle line, something like that. I forgot the name of that company. But there was litigation went on for many years. That was also over a shareholder agreement. Okay. So there are examples. Now, what if you start Googling, you will be finding many examples. And what if you start writing about those also? Why did those disputes happen? Do you think that will be better? Many people
Yeah.
will read it and then they
Yeah,
might
people
contact.
will find it useful.
Yeah. So they will remember you as a person who is really good at this. Yeah. And then they will reach out to you maybe in the future. And same thing you can do, like, when you are drafting any contract for anybody, you can write your learnings and give the background of the fact also, that this was the case. And while drafting this, I realized that this clause is so important. And then I accordingly drafted it like that. How about that?
Okay, sir.
Okay, Chetan, all the best. But don't message
Thank you.
people. Huh? Saying
Okay, sir.
these
Yeah.
are my services.
So,
I know people.
sure, that's why I wanted to ask. I also find
Good
it
you
very,
asked.
very awkward.
Good,
So, yeah, that's why.
it's not proper. Don't.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Bushra has a question. I see. If I don't have anything interesting to write, I refrain, as I believe it's better to
Maintain quality.
maintain quality over quantity. I'm writing thinking this, or should I keep live on LinkedIn by regularly writing, even it is not too interesting or pertinent. I have seen people writing out various trivial things to present mention. So don't write useless things, but write some. There is always, if you think for 5 minutes, you can surely come up with something interesting. Okay. So let's do this, Bushra. Tell me today from morning to now, you must have had some interesting thoughts. Tell me something that came to your mind. You can unmute Bushra. Bushra, should I unmute you? Is that okay?
Hi, Ram.
Yeah, Bushra. Tell me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Not really, because we've just had a morning. I'm a little behind, remember?
Okay, let's talk about yesterday.
All right. So, what kind of on what line?
Okay, yesterday, what sorts of work did you do? Just give me some, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay, I'm working on my assignment, which is like drafting the limited liability partnership.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're drafting a limited liability partnership agreement.
Yes. So I was working on that.
Okay, but outside the course that you are doing with LawSikho, if there is anything else you have done, give me some example of some other thing you did, or something you read, somebody mailed you.
No, not really. I had quite a mundane, boring day.
You are not thinking. So, did you read the newspaper?
No, I don't read newspapers anymore.
Okay.
Because I try to stay away from all the negative news.
Okay, fair enough. Did you? So, what is the negative news that happened yesterday? Anything you can think of?
To be honest, the numbers are rising over here, which is quite alarming because initially they were in the range of between 50 to 100. But since they've opened and eased the lockdown, people are not complying with the restrictions. And
Okay, now you are learning about LLP. Got it, Bushra. Sorry for interrupting. Just short of time. Yes. LLP agreement you are drafting, right? Yes. Now in LLP agreement, if you have to draft in a clause about pandemics, then what should it be?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
In the LLP clause, if you want to have a clause about such emergencies, then what clause will you have?
Are you talking about the force majeure clause?
Force majeure, sure, that is one clause, but anything else?
That due to pandemic, if the business suffers or if there's an emergency, then what are the partners going to do about it? And what are the steps that are required to be taken by the partners to avoid any kind of foreseeable loss? Because pandemic is no more unforeseeable. So, so what are the steps that will need to be taken to avoid any loss to the business?
Sure. What are the steps that are to be taken?
One
could be a key man insurance Keyman Insurance, right?
Yes, we can insure against, have a good insurance in place so that we can be safe against this kind of a loss and delays which
Right.
can
So
be.
what if you write a post about this? Will it be mundane?
No,
Irrelevant?
no.
Okay. And there'll be many such other topics. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
We can come up with any number of topics, right?
Yeah. No, my question is that you are very right. And I actually, when I had written my question, you were speaking about how you can convert anything into a story. Like, I like the point where you said that you can look up a McDonald's story, because everything, it sprouts from a story. There's always a story behind. And instead of writing it as just an article or a news, because everyone can relate to a story. So I like that idea, and I'm going to try that. I think it's a brilliant idea because everyone likes to listen to stories. So
And you can
I'm
post
going
2-3
to do
times a
that.
day, right? And you can write from the time when you were doing your first job, when you were in college. You can write those stories. There must be interesting things that happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
for
I think
example, there is so much
I'll
talk about racism. Did you ever face racism while traveling abroad? How did people treat you? Yeah.
Yes. No, fortunately, I've never faced, but
No,
of
that's
course,
not
this
the
is.
point. The point is that, yeah, you can write that I never faced.
Yes,
And I'm so
it's a
fortunate
current
that-
topic, and it's a very relevant one. So maybe I can just yes, I know some people who have faced it, so I can write it with their reference. So that is a
Yes,
very
yes.
relevant topic. Yes, sure.
Correct. So you can always write about those. And then the question is that in the countries that you are in, should there be any kind of laws related to it? Is there any laws related to discrimination or racial discrimination, all of that? Is there a law in that country? You can write that, okay, our country has this law, right? So
Yeah.
many people may not know and they'll come to know from you, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So there's a question. Thank you, Pusha. Really appreciate it. So there's a question from Khorzan Irani. You have raised your hand also. It is about whether the Bar Council prohibits it. Yes, Bar Council prohibits advertising and solicitation. We are not talking about solicitation. We have answered this question in the beginning of the session. You can always hear it on our YouTube channel also again if you want. I'm not going to take it again because in detail we answered that question. So, any other question is there? It's 1:53. Anubhav, you want to ask any question?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Sir, we know that early adopters
Anubhav, I can't hear you.
obnoxiously high number for themselves.
Acha, early adopters have many. So what?
Hello.
Yeah, Anubhav. Hello.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah. Tell me. Yes.
Huge scores to build a meaningful community.
Anubhav, you're asking me. I couldn't hear your question. Can you repeat that?
I have posted the question in the chat box.
Okay. What are some platforms other than LinkedIn which are still untapped but have a huge scope for lawyers to build meaningful community and if possible? So this early adopter thing. See, this early adopter thing doesn't really matter. Okay, like honestly speaking, it is much better to be present on LinkedIn today than it was, say, 10 years back. Because how does it matter if you're not an early adopter? You post good content, you will get huge following. Okay. I have heard about this before that being an early adopter helps. But trust me, the early adopters of Instagram, there are much people who have joined much later and have much bigger channels. Okay. YouTube also, there are people who have joined much later, have much bigger channels today than early adopters. So early adopter is not the point. The point is, in fact, why do you want to be an early adopter? You can join late and you can post. I mean, I see no points for lawyers. Like, you want your clients to be there. You want other lawyers already to be there. Then you want to post And it is fine enough. Why do you need to be an early adopter? I was a very early adopter of Quora. Hasn't really helped me in any way. I have a few thousand followers. But I don't post on Quora. Initially, when I used to post on Quora, I had a huge traction. Now I don't. So I don't have traction. And how does it matter? Who cares? The point is that you need branding. You need people to know you. The people who are relevant. They are using the people who are, you don't need any tricks and hacks. It's a very simple thing. Your potential clients, your potential employers are using something. They're using LinkedIn, they're using Facebook, they're using Twitter, they're using Instagram, and depends on, maybe they're not using Instagram. So you have to see, like, for example, if you're in the film business, then you might want to be on Instagram, because everybody in the film business, Instagram is the primary thing. They are not that active on LinkedIn. If you are a sports person, then Instagram or Twitter, maybe, like if you want to be the lawyer for sports people, right? Then Twitter or Instagram is obvious, because they are the sports people all are there. Sports journalists are on Twitter. So then you want to go on Twitter. But depends on where your audience is. Now, if there is a hello today or maybe my customers are not on TikTok. We are not so enthusiastic about TikTok because my customers are not on TikTok, right? It might be an experiment for us. How does it matter if I have 1 million followers on TikTok? Will it help me in any way? That is not my goal, right? My goal is here to create online courses, make it available to people. People should know about it. We should have great people collaborating with us. That's my goal. So that's on LinkedIn. That's on Twitter. That's not going to happen even on Facebook for that matter, right? Facebook can be for building groups and for building ads and like running ads and all of that. So you have to think really where people already are. Oh my God, another question on whether lawyers are allowed to market their practice. Let's just address it once more, right? Fine, let's go. Lawyers are not allowed to solicit. Lawyers are not allowed to advertise. Okay, let's be clear on that. But lawyers, can they build a brand? Can they market themselves? Yes, they can, without falling foul of the law. So so for example, if I go on a TV channel and talk about certain law, right? Of course, there are millions of people seeing me and they get to know that I have so much knowledge on this subject. So that creates a brand. If I write a newspaper article on a very important constitutional law issue or a criminal law issue or whatever it is, it creates a brand. If I take free legal aid for people, I provide people free legal aid, that every day I will do one matter for free. Now that also is creating a brand because people are benefiting from me. They have good things to say about me and they go and talk about it, right? Almost all law firms have their communication teams, PR teams, business development teams, right? So can lawyers market themselves? If you are not sure, answer it for me. You go look it up. Like, you tell me, what do you think, right? You cannot solicit. Solicitation is going and asking people, hey, I am a lawyer, I'm a criminal lawyer, I want to do a bail matter, give me your matter. That is solicitation. Advertising, you know what is advertising. I don't need to explain. So, but can I not do illegal things and still market myself? Yes, definitely, right? I also have a freedom of speech. If I want to talk, if I want to, fight for freedom of speech in India, can somebody stop me? If I want to fight for, and I want to build a movement for, maybe that India should have no racism, can somebody stop me? No, I can do that, right? So that is what it is. How much time we spend on LinkedIn for good results? There is nothing like that. Post 3 times, 15 minutes. You don't have to spend lots of time. 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Write for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 times a day. Post it on LinkedIn, you will start seeing results.
All right, sir.
Unless you sit there and watch people liking, commenting, all that is not needed. Next day you can check. Somebody comments on your post, definitely respond to it. That's a good idea.
So sir, I have a couple of questions with me, which are, I think, pertinent to the session. So should I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we have talked about the specific platforms like LinkedIn, like Facebook and Quora and everything. And now the question is how one can chorder up his presence on Google. Like if I type Ramanuj Mukherjee right now on the URL bar, all your photos, your blog posts, your interviews will come up. But if I write Anubhav Garg, only one photo of mine will come. Rest the photo is of some surgeon in Calcutta.
I understand
Yeah.
the problem. So see, you have to keep. So that is also thing that your Google search result has to be, managed, and you have to make sure that you have enough presence on Google. So that happens when you write blog posts on different websites. When you start, all of that, blogging, Twitter, everything matters. You make YouTube videos, everything, all of those things start coming on Google search result. And more people click on that, those results get more and more primacy. Okay, so if a lot of people are clicking on the results, Google starts seeing this as a more relevant result, push it up. So that you just have to keep creating really good content, and that will happen. Your all of that is taken care of. Somebody is asking, if we type best lawyers in Delhi, we get a lot of results. So yeah, that is the SEO. So I don't know. I mean, this is a hard question. I think some court of law should decide that. I don't see. I mean, SEO, is it advertising? Is it solicitation? I don't know. It's a hard question to answer.
All right.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I have only one last question. Then we can take more questions from attendees. That we know that, like in any other thing in life, we will also face competition in this race of building fort of online name. So how one can distinguish himself from his or her peers in the game of online branding and escape this rat race and set up their own standards and block?
Didn't understand. Like, how can somebody?
How somebody can distinguish himself from his peers in the race of building online brand? This is the question.
There is no race, first of all. Most people are not doing anything about it. There are too few people actually thinking of even building a brand. So if you're thinking of building a brand, you are already miles apart from everybody else. Okay. Second thing is that you start acting on it. Many people think things, but then 1 out of 10 people who think, maybe one person actually do something. So if you start actually doing it, you start writing. And remember that brand has to be about something. It cannot be about myself. Oh, I am Anubhav Garg, I am Ramanuj Mukherjee, I am so cool. No, that is not the point. Your brand should be always built around the cause. So if you stand for something, right? You might be standing for, okay, I stand for, that India should have a great cyber law. Okay, I don't know, like something, or I want to make sure that no woman is suffering because of domestic violence, or I want to help people who are victims of sexual blackmail, or I want to help people who are trying to run a good startup business. I want to support them. Something or the other is there, right? I want to ensure India has great corporate governance standards, right? So you'll have something. So build your brand around that. And you start talking about it and writing about it and really work for it. Like somebody I just spoke with, right? So Aryan, right? So he wants to work on public policy. Now, it is not about just posting something, but it is about posting and following up and keep working on that thing, right? And actually mobilize people, actually work a lot on it. So more you work on it, more you will be able to build your brand sustainably, and you'll stand out more and more. And obviously, there are obvious benefits in the profession, because people will, whenever they'll think of public policy issues, they might reach you for other help also. Okay. There's a question from Chetana, which is a very good question, that if I post about topics such as racism, beef ban, I fear it can attract negative posts and harm our reputation and all of that. See, some things you can choose to avoid. But if you are working on that, so there would be lawyers who are working on casteism. There are lawyers who are working on racism. Let's say I'm a lawyer and my goal is that any foreigner who faces racism in India, I am going to support them. I am going to work for them as a lawyer. Then I have to talk about racism. Will people say negative things? Yes, a lot of people will say negative things. It doesn't matter. People said horrible things about Ram Jethmalani. Has it impacted his brand? No. Ram Jethmalani defended the murderers of Indira Gandhi. Ram Jethmalani defended Manu Sharma on Jessica Lal case. Ram Jethmalani defended the worst criminals in this country. Has it destroyed his brand? I do not think so. Right? So if that is your work, if you want to work against racism, then talk about racism. Why will you not talk about? Even there will be, yes, if you want to be a activist to support, people who are victims of casteism, then you will have to talk about it. If you are somebody, let's say you are an anti-reservation, and it doesn't matter whether I support or not. Let's say you're an anti-reservation activist. You don't want reservation in our country. Okay. Now then you'll have to talk about it, and you'll get support, and you'll get people also talking against you. But then if you are that, you have to speak about it. Otherwise, what is the point, right? So it depends. Now, if you are writing about real estate and you got to, anyway, so, the most safe way to have nobody insult you, nobody say anything to you, is to stay at home, say nothing, keep quiet, which is why 90% people never talk anyway. Now, if you are going to talk, there will be people who will have a problem with it, 100%. Now, we should not focus on that one person who says negative thing, or 10% people who says negative thing. There are 100 people who are saying positive thing. What about that, right? So that is how it works. Now, you need to really not care so much about what people will say. लोग क्या कहेंगे उसमें रहेंगे तो फिर कुछ नहीं, brand तो नहीं बनेगा. Okay.
All right, sir. Richa Arora has put up this question. Please explain how to branding and blogging helps in developing a career in legal journalism.
Of course, legal journalism is a lot about branding. So there are journalists who are breaking stories, nobody knows them. And then there are some people who are retweeting that story on their Twitter, and then 10 lakh people are saying, wow, what do those journalists, right? So that is the situation, that journalism has become all about branding. So if you want to be a legal journalist, you need to build your followership, people who appreciate your work. So that will happen. And for journalists, it's very easy to build a brand. You keep writing about the most important things in the society anyway, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Many people will read it, they will like it. It's easiest for the journalists to build good brands. Everybody wants to interact with them. So social media is the paradise of journalists. Even if you're a legal journalist, start posting every day about every news, and write an analysis, write an update, write something about it, and you just see your social media will just go through the roof. Like branding, nothing to worry about. You can have a little more specific things also. So for example, you can decide that, okay, my forte is to write about, I don't know, about healthcare and law, or something like, I don't know, like you can pick up some area. Or I am going to write about complex patent issues and simplify and explain to people, whatever, like up to you. But if you have something a little more specific, might help. Okay, I gotta go. I have another meeting. I am already 8 minutes late for that. So I need to run. I hope this session was beneficial. I would love it if you guys can go on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, wherever, and write about what you learned from here, and tag me and put a hashtag LawSikho. It would help us in a big way. I'm sure we are trying to help you by doing more and more webinars every day. And I would request this much payback, that you guys also write about it, share your learnings. It will help you also. Whatever you learned, whatever you decided from this webinar, go share about it on LinkedIn, share it on your WhatsApp groups, tag us. It will be great. So it will help us in a big way. So this is my ask. So how many of you if you're okay with helping us, please go ahead. Really will appreciate. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. It was really enriching. All right, people. Break a leg.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.